Hello, and welcome back to another Writer Wizard podcast. I know that I'm trying to move on from certain topics because I've covered them a lot lately. But unfortunately, the biggest things I want to talk about with you guys that I don't get to talk about in any other platform through this channel, unfortunately, I get to talk about it here. So today we're going to be covering my ideas for the new intro to the next Dexter show. And we're going to be talking about the latest Birdman exposing the grift video. And finally, I'm going to give my thoughts on Sea of Thieves Season 14 and moving forward. So without further ado, let's go ahead and get started. Okay, so we know there's a new Dexter show coming out later this year. I've seen an ad for it. I am just the slightest bit concerned about it because it does look pretty good, but it looks like it's going to take place like just a couple years before the first show of Dexter starts. So I was told, or the information they were putting out was that this was going to be like Dexter in high school, which I thought was weird because they could have to find actors that really look like the teenage version of Dexter we had already seen, or get someone that looks like the father that we'd already seen a lot of. We've seen a lot of Harry, and they had Michael C. Hall. Oh no, they had another kid. They had some kid playing young Dexter, but I think they maybe dubbed his voice at some points. I know it's been a while since I watched it, but basically my point is that yeah, I saw the ad, I saw the trailer, and I thought it looks good, but I don't know. Just not sure about it. Now, Dexter Resurrection, a chance for them to continue on the story. I told you last time where I thought the story could go from where we left off in Dexter New Blood. And this I might have brought up back in the times when I was talking about Dexter New Blood coming out. But I really feel that this Dexter Resurrection show will be their final chance to fix the series. Not that I particularly have any issue with the series. I liked how the show ended. I liked Dexter New Blood. I kind of wanted to see it go on. I kind of wish they didn't write out the girl who took off with Harrison. I didn't like that. But maybe the actress is too busy to come back. But I definitely would have liked to have seen more of it. And I would have liked this story to continue in some way or fashion. And I I don't know. But I did have an idea what they could do for the next intro. And granted, unless I get a ton of views on this video, I highly doubt the makers over at Showtime, I think, is the showrunners. I doubt they'll see it, but come on. If you are a fan of Dexter, this is perfect. And being that we knew that Dexter New Blood was going to take place mostly in like a wooded cabinet area in a small town, this really would have made sense there. But maybe we're going to stay in the same area. I mean, that's always a possibility. We don't know. I doubt it will. So, basically, here's my idea. So, the show starts off with, all of these are going to be close-up shots, very similar to the way the original intro was shot, with very close-up shots from Dexter, like focusing on his eyes or his hands, doing something, being that was brushing his teeth, putting on his clothes, cooking his food, eating his food, brushing and flossing, all that stuff. And you don't really get an outward shot until he leaves his apartment and he's walking down that balcony. Well, here, it would kind of be something similar where you start off with a close-up shot of a door opening and then a light turning on, like a hand turning on the light switch, the door shutting, a coat getting thrown off, boots or shoes, depending on where we are, getting taken off, a pot being filled with water, then being placed onto a burner, then another shot of a shirt coming off, and another shirt going on, like a night shirt. Then the boiling water, we watch as spaghetti, is poured in. Maybe we see another pot be placed on the stove where tomato sauce is added. And we basically watch a very sped up version of him putting together this spaghetti. And then we see the plate of spaghetti be assembled. We watch as grated cheese falls like snow. And the last thing we see as the camera pulls out to a full shot is Dexter eating spaghetti and then Dexter finishing his spaghetti, and then the camera could pull out as he climbs into bed and shuts off the light. Now, the reason I thought that this would be such a great intro is because it's the reverse, the opposite to the intro from the original show. This brings back the main title. Now, maybe they could do something with the main title to maybe make it more menacing or more downbeat, since it's supposed to be like, the original was upbeat. It's the beginning of a new day. This is, it's the end of the day. Time to relax. Kind of a deal. So it would completely mirror the original intro. But being its complete, like I said, mirror, it would be the best term. It's mirroring while being opposite. And basically matching it beat for beat. Putting you in this mood like, okay, this is it. And I think this would really hype up fans every time they watch it. Now, I don't know if every fan watches the intro every single time, but, I mean, that would be pretty cool. So, that's my thoughts for the next intro. And as I say, hopefully you can picture it in your head, and you can see how perfect that would be. Because through the main series, we learned that Dexter likes spaghetti. He eats it many times. And like I said, just visualize those images of him getting done for the day, putting his day to bed, eating one meal. We have no idea what he did. And there could be, maybe they show like blood splatter on his shirt that he takes off. So, or maybe there's different intros where, hey, every time they show that shirt being taken off, there's more and more blood on the shirt or something. I mean, even though Dexter does, do things in a very clean way, I mean, that would just be kind of cool that, oh my god, Or maybe something a little ominous, like maybe in the intro they could show him putting away in a secret spot his toolkit for when he kills people. Or putting a slide, could be a one quick shot in the intro. Kind of letting you know, he's still at his original, he's back to his original form. He's back on the ritual. So that's just my thoughts, and that's what I think would make a really good intro for Dexter Resurrection. It would have made a really good intro, I think, for Dexter New Blood, because it could have all happened in that cabin, and it really would have, played to the idea of being in that cabin, being in that life. So, alright, I'm going to take a quick break. When I come back, we're going to move on to our next section. See you in a minute.
Looking for something to pass the time? Need something good to read or listen to?
To get you ready for Halloween.
Do you like famous slashers like Jason, Freddy, Michael, or Ghostface? Do you wish there was something new and original that you could read on your phone or tablet? Or perhaps you like to grab a scary book and read by candlelight?
Check out these short stories, written by Sean Connaughton. When a mildly abusive man mistreats his bride-to-be on Halloween night, his neighbors decide to teach him a lesson. A lesson he won't soon forget when he finds himself in the witch's hole. And narrated by me, Tara Klein.
A Seattle detective, Scott Grimes, investigates a string of odd murders. But where this case ultimately leads him, he could never have predicted when he crosses paths with the legal murderer. And narrated by me, Brad Letson.
Join the Dunn family as they make their way to a vacation home for a weekend trip. However, when the sun goes down, things seem to get just as dark inside as outside. Stay with the Dunns and see if you can make it through The Mansion. Audiobook narrated by Dylan Poor.
This story follows Sir Godwin as he and a small group transport a lovely princess out of a soon-to-be war zone, and as they travel they must pass through some woods. However, things grow darker and more sinister the deeper into the woods they go, and they find what some believe to only be known as the Legend of Fort Blood. Narrated for you by Angela Strauman.
So, turn out the lights, light a candle, grab your phone or tablet, and download your ebook or audiobook now.
Currently available all year round on Audible, Amazon, and iTunes.
So don't miss out, and grab your copy today.
Alright, so, if you liked that idea for the new Dexter intro, or you have something that you could use to expand upon that Dexter intro, let me know down in the comments below. But now moving on to the next topic, which is probably going to take a minute. The newest Birdman exposing the grift video, where he reacted to a video of I believe it was a rapper, on some sort of podcast, talking about how he believes in the whole flat earth theory or idea. Something that I hear a lot more people talking about lately. This keeps coming up, as well as several other topics, which I might address in the future. But this one, there has been a lot of stupid, really, really stupid ideas out there, like men can become women, even though they can't. Not without completely hollowing, okay, so, real quick, here's something, I don't know if I've ever brought it up. Okay, even if you get a sex change operation, yes, you can get a sex change operation, I believe that. That doesn't make you a woman. But let's say you did. Let's say, by some miracle of a chance, let's say a woman died. And they took all her blood, and she was an organ donor, and they managed to take her blood, which was still good, and drain all of the blood out of a man, putting all the blood of a woman into him. That still would not make him a woman. Women have a very different skeletal structure than us men. So they would have to literally break hips, remove, I think men have one extra rib bone than a woman. They would have to break out a rib bone. I mean, it would be very painful from head to toe, to be fully transferred into a woman. And likewise for women to turn into men. Their hips are different than ours. Like I said, the ribs are different. But that's just how I feel. And I know a lot of people feel the same way. But now let's talk about this whole flat earth theory. I'm not going to talk for too terribly long on this subject. And I'm not going to go through the original Birdman video beat by beat. I'm sorry, I'm not going to do that this time around. Because honestly, here's the thing. I said this in the past video where I disagreed with the Birdman. But on this matter, I fully agree with the Birdman. Like I said, there are things he says that I disagree with. And there are things that I do agree with. And this I fully 100% agree with. And the fact that there are people out there in the world today that are believing this stupid crap, that the earth is flat, it just blows my mind. Okay, yeah, people can have sex change operations. And you can debate forever if they're truly a woman or truly a man, if they change, if they get body parts taken away or added. But this is the earth. This is where we live. Something that was proven long before we went to space. Long ago. And people are starting to doubt it now. Oh, it's a conspiracy. We never went to the moon. That was a conspiracy. And that's just the thing. Every time you say something against, they'll say, oh, I'm part of the Freemasons. Well, if you read my books, you would know how untrue that is. You would know how I'm not I die hard on the thought concept, but you would know my thoughts on the Freemasons. I rip into them I make them pretty big villains in my book series, The Guardian of Light. And I'm not going to spoil it, but let's just say there's some secret society stuff in there. So if you like that kind of stuff. But moving on. Anytime you say anything negative to these people's theories, that's a Freemason thing, it's a cover-up, it's a conspiracy against... Why? Here's the question. What does it matter? What would making the earth round, what would that achieve? What would that prove? Like, what difference would that make? Seriously, think about your life. Is your life changed in any way? No, of course not. But you're going to say that something that has been proven, there have been people that have gone up in balloons, which existed long before, and this is the stuff that Birdman didn't talk about. That's why I'm bringing it up. People created hot air balloons long before they created space shuttles and satellites and every other thing that could go up into the sky. I'm pretty sure we've had pictures, and none of the pictures has exposed a flat Earth. We have had ships that have literally sailed around the globe. Now, I know I've seen pictures of what these people consider a flat Earth to be, but those pictures make no sense, because it puts the North Pole directly at the center of the Earth. If it was a disc, if it was as flat as you say, first off, there's no equator, which that doesn't make sense. Secondly, it puts the North Pole at the center. Now, okay, I get it, the South Pole stretches, but here's the thing. We've had people go to the South Pole who have traveled from one side of the South Pole to the other. People have explored this world. There is nowhere on this earth above the water that has not already been explored to some extent. That planes, helicopters, hot air balloons, space shuttles have not flown over. If birds can fly to the top of Mount Everest, then I'm sure our hot air balloons and our planes can fly over them as well. So no, there is no place over this globe that has not been explored in some way or fashion. Now, I'll tell you what has not been shown. And this is what the Birdman honestly should have said in his video. Now, I still implore you to please go check out his video, because he says a lot of good stuff. Really funny, tearing these people up, this one dude apart. But the one thing he never said, and I kind of wish he had said it, unless I missed it, I really wish he would have said that, you know what, they need to prove to us. That's the one thing they can't do. Go do a live stream, even though you could probably fake that too. We have movies. We could probably fake it on some level, but still, there is nobody going out to the edges of the earth and taking a picture where the earth ends. And if the earth truly ends, Then where's all the water? Why is there water? Why is the water not spilling out into space? Because they don't believe in gravity either. Apparently, it just sits on the earth like it's a bowl of water. It's not even flat. It doesn't even make... Sometimes the way these people were talking, it didn't even believe that it sounded like they thought it was actually flat. More like the earth was a giant bowl, and we're just little islands floating on water. Which, that wouldn't make sense either. But if it's truly flat, like the drawings and pictures and have... because people have painted that. People have drawn it. But when they draw it, they always just draw it with water flowing off the edge. How is the water getting back onto Earth? If that's the case, why are the clouds not floating out into space? That doesn't make sense either. And if you say there's some sort of field, some sort of invisible barrier keeping this stuff from floating off, well, that sounds like a dome. And what happens when you put two domes together? Oh, you get a ball. So, okay, why hasn't anybody been able to dig through to the end, like in Minecraft? I know this because my daughter plays it all the time. Why can nobody dig straight down to the bottom and find an empty void down there? If the earth is flat, as these people suggest, then it shouldn't take that long to dig down through the earth to nothingness or to the vast of space, right? You should be able to dig a giant hole and go straight down to the bottom. Because the only reason we can't do that now is that because the earth is a ball, it's vastly too big to dig from one side to the other. And you got oceans and stuff in the way, and you got the core, which would, there was a movie called The Core. If you haven't seen it, I highly suggest it. It's really good. But yeah, that just goes to show, we are not at the level of technology, if the earth is a ball, to actually dig completely from one side of the earth to the other. It's too hot in the center of the earth. The core is what keeps our planet alive. But these stupid flat earth theories, well, then there is no core. There is no giant heat source underneath us. There's not that much dirt. It should take you 20 years, maybe, digging, I don't know, a mile a day. I mean, it can't be thicker than 50 miles, right? Or maybe a half mile a day. Hell, even 6 feet a day. Probably in 20 years, you could reach the bottom. Show everybody physical proof. Oh, hey, look. We recorded these videos every day of us digging a hole straight down. And now we finally hit the bottom, and what is below us? Space. That would prove that the earth is flat. Right? But they can't do that. They can't even get in a hot air balloon or a helicopter, fly out to the end of the flat earth and take a live picture. But they want to say there's all these floating balloons way up in the sky that have cameras attached to them. That they're not really any satellites out in space. It's just cameras on balloons. Sounds a little stupid. Now, I'll admit, okay? I'll fully admit right here and now that I am in no way a scientist. However, there is this actual scientific theory. And when I say theory, I mean it in much the way that the Birdman presented it. And other people have presented this as like a law, a scientific law. I don't know myself because, I've only ever lived in the northern hemisphere. But there's a thing about water. That when water goes down a sink, it creates a vortex. Now, in the northern hemisphere, that vortex almost always, unless it's stopped by some other force, naturally always should go down clockwise. But on the southern hemisphere, that same water would go down the drain counterclockwise. Now again, I don't know how much of this is true. I don't know if people have actually done tests, but this is stuff I've heard throughout my life. And I'm over 40. So, like I said, not a scientist, but that's what I've heard. By their logic, then, it should always go down one way, no matter where you are on this planet, because it's all flat, right? Shouldn't matter if you live on the northern hemisphere or the southern hemisphere. All the water should drain the same way. What makes clockwise or counterclockwise the right way for it to go? Now, you could say that if the Earth was round and the water is draining clockwise on the northern hemisphere and counterclockwise on the southern hemisphere, that would be a part to gravity, pulling it towards the center of the Earth, where the gravity is going to be the strongest. If there is no gravity, then someone really needs to explain how magnets work. Why magnets always point north. Which, by their own logic, again, would put the North Pole at the center, not north. So then compasses are a lie. Right? So, like I said, I do fully agree with the Birdman. Yes, his stuff about racism I still disagree with. And I think, that he needs to seriously maybe think about, how he views the world. Because, I know the video wasn't about racism, but since he brought it into that video, because originally his first video on this exposing the grift thing was supposed to be about why men are getting upset about women in lead roles, which we're not. At least the normal people who are upset, not the ones looking to get clicks and views. Yes, like geeks and gamers, all of them, they are looking to get views. They are looking to incite people against these movies. But, we're at a point now where people can get against the movies all on their own. They don't need to be rallied up. And for most of us, it's just the fact we don't want to see this all over again, or we don't want to see things we like be torn down to make way for these other things. Like I said, there was nothing wrong with men being Ghostbusters. And we could have women be Ghostbusters. That's fine too. But you completely restarted the franchise. and then you played it on, oh, this is why we're doing it. Because we want to make them women now. And I actually, I did give the movie a chance. Like I've said every time. I gave the movie a chance, and the comedy just was horrendous. I might do another video on it one day. I don't know. But right now, I'm just going to end it there. But then he went into a picture of Minecraft, and he was saying that, people didn't like this one actress, or they didn't like some of these actors who played male roles in the past, like Lando Calrissian, because they were black. And you know what? I don't remember any of that. In fact, the more I've thought about it, I have seen more racism come from black people over the years. Yes, do we have movies where there are racist white people? Yes, but we don't make whole movies about it. And lately, that's been a lot of what these movies are. If it has an all-black cast, then they're completely ripping on white people and complaining about how white people are racist. Show me one white movie with an all-white cast made in the last 10 years that is doing that. So here's my message to the Birdman. Well, yes, I agree with you on many things, and I disagree with you on some things. The Birdman. Go watch Am I Racist by Matt Walsh. Watch a couple videos of Amala. I don't want to mess up her last name. I believe it's like Ekonobi. I'm not sure if I'm saying her last name right. I am terribly sorry if I am messing it up. I know she says it all the time in her videos, but she says it really fast. I will give her that. She says it really fast, and I'm horrible with names. I will admit, as someone with a very long, crazy last name, and I am horrible with names too. So I mean no disrespect. But I will put a link to one of her videos or to her channel in the description below, Birdman. Watch some of her videos where she talks on these topics, because she used to be a Democrat. She talks about that many times, and she used to be a Democrat, and now she is not really a Republican, but more middle of the road. And watch some of her videos. Watch the new movie, Am I Racist by Matt Walsh. And I think you will start to understand why, especially white people, why we are getting sick and tired of this rhetoric of being called racist. Because just because we're not. Most of us aren't. In fact, I've said this before, and I'll say it again every time. Most of us don't live our lives anymore worrying about the color of people's skin. Are there a few out there that probably do? Yeah, there are probably a few. There are probably a few out there. But to this whole idea that there is systemic racism, no. That shit's over with. The only people trying to do it, the only people trying to make it come back are the left-wing psycho Democrats who thrive off of the division of everyone. They want everyone divided. Why? Well, most of these people are business owners, which is kind of stupid because they're against their own kind. They'll eat their own kind. But They want division so they can put out more products so they have more to sell and the more money they can make. That's the truth. And you're aiding them. As much as you seem to be the kind of person who's against the man, you sure seem to be playing their game pretty well. You're doing them a favor. Well, like I said, there are many people who are, Jeremy from Geeks and Gamers, I don't believe he's really racist. I think he just does it for clicks. And these people you keep responding to, who keep insulting you, I don't even know why you give them the time of day, because, as soon as they start insulting you, that's usually a pretty good indication that they know they can't win against you. I have made a couple videos against your video. I don't really want to, but I always find myself having more to say. When you keep bringing, like you brought up in this Flat Earth video, you brought up one thing that the Democrats have latched onto with the vice president candidate, and it's like, oh, you really had to go there. I was so enjoying this video because you weren't bringing it up. You weren't bringing up anything that was politically based. It was all stuck on the flat earth theory, and you just had to go to the politics. Just had to get a little jab in. Instead of keeping it on topic. Like, I can't keep it on topic when I'm talking. Well, everything I'm talking about is talking about the Birdman's videos. So, but yeah, watch Amala. Watch Am I Racist? I would love to see you do a review or a reaction to the Am I Racist movie. So that's what I have to say. Flat Earthers, you want us to believe it? Fine. Here's your challenge now. Now this is a really big one, okay? I know it shouldn't be that hard. Show us where the bottom of the earth empties out into space, and show us the edges. Take balloons, take helicopters, whatever you have to do. Go out to the edge and show us where the world ends. Don't come back until you found it. Get on a plane, get on a boat, and sail out or go out to the edge of the earth and start live streaming. I guarantee you will have 8 billion views. If you find the absolute edge of the earth, everybody will watch your video. And you got to have witnesses, so take a couple people with you so they can be taking live pictures and posting them online. Go there. Find it. Stop talking about something if you can't prove it. Like, we proved the earth was round. Okay? See, this is the order of events. People thought, because they could just walk and walk and walk and walk and walk, and they didn't know how to cross an ocean, they thought, oh, well, I don't see anything beyond the ocean, so it must just end. And they were too stupid back in medieval times, before they had boats, to figure, oh wait, if the earth just ends, where's the water coming from? So you're telling me you're almost as stupid as a caveman. That's your level of intelligence. And you think you're trying to bring science into it, but the science is working against you. So go there. Show us. Because we've already had decades, centuries of people proving that the earth is round. You can't undo that. You are an idiot if you really, honestly, truly, in your heart, believe that the earth is flat. And I'm not the only one that thinks this way. There are a lot of other people in your life. You go around probably talking about this, and people, well, I mean, if you're rich, people are just agreeing with you like, yeah, hey, can I get $1,000, please? They're taking advantage of you because you're so stupid. You believe the earth is flat, and so they know that you'll just give them money. And if you're not rich, well, then people around you just think you're so stupid that, hey, there's something mentally wrong with this person. They probably took the short bus to school. And then they probably just agree with you out of, oh, yeah, okay, yeah, whatever you say. Like, those guys on that podcast, they kept trying to nudge this dude, this rapper. I don't even know who he was. Never heard his music. But I'm glad I didn't. They kept trying to nudge him in the way of saying, well, hey, what about this? What about this? And, yeah, the guy had an answer for everything. Like, as the Birdman said, he must have watched some videos before going on that show. But, I mean, it's just ridiculous. And you can tell that they are very skilled at holding back their laughter and playing along. Internally, one of them looked like, he had a look like, my God, where do we find these people? Oh yeah, and by these people, just in case, because the guy was black, let me be clear, by these people, I mean the people who believe that the earth is flat, not the color of his skin. With that said, we're going to take a quick break. When I come back, we're going to be talking about Season 14 of Sea of Thieves. So if you've liked everything I've talked about up until now, do me a favor. Help me out. Subscribe to the channel. Maybe then people will actually see this and will get the proof that the earth is really flat, like they claim. Or maybe we'll finally put an end to this stupid earth is flat theory.
For thousands of years, the world has been protected by the Guardian of Light, or as he is more commonly known, Santa Claus. Over the centuries, factors such as fear and prejudice, greed and jealousy, misunderstandings, betrayal and war have segregated most humans from the magical world of elves, fairies, wizards, and the like. This has resulted in many misconceptions and generalizations of the true nature of Santa and his world.
This 6-book series by Sean Connaughton begins as the current of a long series of Guardians is murdered by a group of monstrous enemies recently escaped from an enchanted South Pole prison. These creatures are loyal to the darkness, an evil force determined to exterminate the light in order to enslave all creatures of the world.
Shane Connor, an average young man, suddenly finds himself being trained as the new Guardian. As he adapts to his new life among fantastic creatures, he goes on an adventurous quest with a legendary wizard for the ultimate weapon to use against the darkness, and faces murderous enemies like Rasputin, Morgana Le Fay, Krampus, and many more.
Along with his best friend Joe Gomez, Shane encounters politics, history, mysterious murders, new loves, his own hidden past, and racial dynamics among the fantasy races that turn out to be all too real. Their adventures reveal the true nature of the world and challenge the current state of how all races interact.
This series expertly melds myths, legends, history, faiths, folklore, and secret societies into a fascinating, cohesive, comprehensive world of wonder and magic.
From Atlantis to Olympus, from Hades to the moon, and from broomstick races to Christmas deadlines, join the new Santa Claus on his amazing journey. But beware, will Shane's quest achieve his ultimate goal of destroying the darkness and preserving the light of the world? Or is he actually playing right into a plot by dark forces that will result in his, and our, ultimate doom?
So make your list and check it twice for the Guardian of Light book series. Download your audiobook or ebook today from Audible, Amazon, or iTunes.
Okay, so Sea of Thieves Season 14 just recently dropped. And I have played. I think the grapple gun is good that it's not an actual weapon. I think we're going to need more, though. Like, more reasons to use the grapple gun. Because I feel like for boarding purposes, since they made it harder to use as a boarding tool, I don't think a lot of people are probably going to be using the grapple gun. So if there was more of a reason, like, on islands and stuff, maybe make it go a little bit further, because it doesn't seem to reach that far. I was trying it on Reaper's hideout, and I was like standing next to like the cannon, and I had the treasure on the shore, and I couldn't reach, and then I had to go a little down the fence and stand on the fence, and then I could. But I feel like it just needs a little bit more length to be a good tool for something like that. I also think that the blowgun is really good as far as a PvE tool. Against the skeletons and stuff, it really helps out a solo player. It's a little slow, though, in battle. I tried it out against some players who attacked me when I was trying to get a Reaper chest into Reaper's hideout, and I ended up getting killed off by the second person on the shore who was using a sniper rifle. The one that was in the water with me, he was poisoning me, but it was going too slowly that I could eat fruit. But then one of his buddies on the shoreline actually sniped me and was able to finish me off. Joke was on them, because all I was trying to do was turn in my Reaper chest. All the rest of my treasure was safely on my ship, which was sailing away. So they thought they were going to get me, but all they got was the Reaper chest, and it wasn't like it was that valuable, so I didn't really care. However, against skeleton lords and stuff, the way that the blowgun works with the lure and the poison and the explosives really opens up a lot of new options, and it lets you do a lot more than you could before as a solo player. As a group with a brig or a galleon against like the Fort of the Damned or the Burning Blade crew, it should be pretty easy. It should make you, this should set you on super easy. So if you have one guy standing in the back shooting lure darts and explosive darts, while your other crewmate is keeping them safe by taking out with throwing knives and sword lunges all the other skeletons, then yeah, you're in for a pretty easy fight. Then you can actually keep one guy on the ship sailing it around in circles until the fort or whatever world event is done. Like I said, I did do a Fort of the Damned where I tried out the blow dart, and what used to take me like 45 minutes to an hour, I was able to complete in like 20 to 30 minutes this time around. Mostly because there I had the added part where I had to constantly be getting the flame, making them solid. But once I got to Gray Marrow, he was a lot easier because I could just shoot him with lore darts, and all his little invisible skeletons that he was summoning to aid him, well, he couldn't fight back against them because of the fact they weren't solid. So that actually was beneficial in my favor. So I just started shooting him with all kinds of darts. Poison darts, explosive darts, lore darts. So he got like all three. So I think the blowgun is really good, but it's only good for solo PvE or any PvE. I don't think it will do well on a player because it's too slow. I did try out the disguises. I wish there were still some things we could do, even while in disguises. But I get why we can't. Like when you're crouching, I kind of wish that you could still use the telescope. Or still use a bucket. That way, when you come out of the crouch, you're not just exposed. Or you can still see things from a distance while hiding. So, like, that's why I want the spyglass. Because, like, if someone's coming close and I'm trying to watch them with the spyglass, but then I'm trying to crouch, well, they already saw the spyglass, so that whole thing was ruined, maybe. Depending if they actually notice. I wonder actually how many people out there actually do notice when a spyglass is on them. Most people, I don't think, really pay that close attention, but... And other than that, we were supposed to get traps. They were delayed, and it looks like they're going to be delayed until sometime around the middle of November while they work out the bugs. And we just had crouching disabled yesterday when I got the last chest of fortune off the burning blade. And what I mean by that is it was supposed to change when 14 dropped, which, as you all know, but it was supposed to move to the Fort of the Damned. Well, I had no idea that they were doing this update, so I got on pretty late. It was like 25 minutes till 3 o'clock in the morning, my time. And I saw the notice that they were going to be going offline soon for the update, or to make changes. And as soon as I logged in, I saw a burning blade that had not been taken by a crew. And so I went there, and when I got there, there was another ship fighting the burning blade. So I rammed my ship into the burning blade, jumped on board, provided some diversionary skeletons for theirs, grabbed the chest of fortune, jumped off the edge of the ship, and I'm like thinking, because at this point I'm seeing the message come up, 15 minutes till server shutdown. And I'm like, oh crap, I'm not going to make it to a freaking outpost in 15 minutes. I have to get to an island, bury the chest, get my ship, come back to that island, unbury the chest, then take it. There's no chance. But luckily, as soon as I reached the island, there was a rowboat. So I was able to use the rowboat to head straight north to Galleon's Grave, where I sold the chest of fortune. And I still had like 3 minutes to spare by the time I was done with that. So that's why I say I probably got the very last chest of fortune from the Burning Blade. Although I really wish, in all honesty, I wish they had not moved, and I think this is a consensual against, amongst most of the fan base, is that they should have just left the chest of fortune on the Burning Blade, to be honest. I mean, now that it's gone, Now that there's not going to be a chest of fortune on there, I mean, the only reason people are going to do the Burning Blade at all is to finish off commendations that require you to actually take the Burning Blade. And once everybody has pretty much done it that wants to do it, that gives a rat's about the commendations, that Burning Blade event is just going to become like all the others. Like, no one's going to care until the Chest of Fortune, which I'm really surprised that the Chest of Fortune is still chased after as much as it is when you have much bigger, because when you're chasing after it, you're not really going after it for the gold. It's like, what, 15k? I think the Skull of Siren Song is 50k, worth way more. The Orbs of Secrets down in those new vaults are 20k. So it's not even like it's the most valuable chest or the most valuable loot in the game. And all it does is give reputation to the gold hoarders. So it's not even like it really goes that well for Athena. I think you can get some benefit if you turn it into Reaper's Hideout. But I don't know if it's really that much. So I was watching when Season 14 was coming out, and Hippo TC was asked a question, something he's asked almost weekly, because he is very much against the Hourglass. And I have my own issues with the Hourglass. Hell, I have my own issues with the PvP in this game, and people's piss poor excuse of, oh, it's a pirate game. Well, that's not how pirates were. Pirates actually worked together. Reapers would not go around hunting Reapers. Reapers would be working together to rule the sea. Factions would work together. If Athena's Fortune's faction were really the good guys, then the Athenas would be banding together to go against the Reapers, yes. But not going and destroying every player they come across. That might be the Reapers, but the Reapers would never harm another Reaper ship. They would instantly start working together. But here, in this game, you just have everybody fighting everybody, which just leads to complete chaos. And then you got people giving these piss poor things. Well, it's a pirate game. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, because pirates, that's what they did. That's why they're not around anymore. They just went around killing everybody. They must have been very short-lived. But anyways, he brought up the fact of the whole Hourglass PvP, and why not many people are caring about it, because either A, the diehards have already grinded it out for everything they could get off of it, and now they don't care no more, they got everything, or newer players just don't care because there are so many cheaters and stuff in the Hourglass, and the cheaters are cheating their way through it. So I mean, how do you think the diehards feel? The ones that actually did work really hard to get all their stuff, and yet they want to say, when I put out a video that I say, oh, well, they should make it easier for newer players or for less experienced players. Here's what Hippo TC said, and I fully agree with him on this. There should be other ways to earn points. There should be other means in which to earn points for the factions. Not just PvP, but maybe like weekly duties. Like completing the Siren Song. Maybe once a week you get some points if you have a emissary flag raised and you complete the Tale of Siren Song. And you turn in the skull. you don't even have to have the hourglass actually active. Now, he said that they should have it where the thing is locked off until someone else joins against you and it's a race. I could kind of see that, but I mean, I don't think that should necessarily have to be a requirement. But, he also kind of did say too that the level should be brought down. And I've always said that the level should be brought down. It should be level 50 in both factions, like for instance, Reaper and Athena. And then in Guardians and whatever the Reaper one is. You should have to get to at least level 50 in both, and then you get the base curse. Why? Because once you do that, then people are going to be more inclined to want to get all the other stuff. They're going to want the gold glowing ghost curse or the gold skeleton curse. And not everybody has 8 hours a day to play this game religiously like most online streamers do. They're lucky if they have 2-3 hours a day to play. They have lives. Either you kids, you go to school, you got homework. Some of you got after school jobs. Adults, you have regular jobs. If you have kids, you have kids' lives you have to revolve around. So the average player who plays this game does not have the time to sit there and devote to this game. And yet these diehards or these cheaters say, oh, we'll get better at the game. No, it's not that we can't get better at the game. It's that we don't have time to get better. And then when we do have the time, you people come in wrong and you ruin the experience. Because, yes, you have the time to sit there and learn every little faceted detail. That's why some of the biggest names in this game, they don't go around and just kill you because. Like, Hippo actually does kill some people sometimes, but most of the time he tries to sneak around. That's what it is all about for him. If you watch his videos, if you watch him live stream, you'll notice that he a lot of times will try to go out of his way not to get into a fight, just to steal treasure and get away with it. Fuzzy Bond is another good example of that. He tries really hard not to kill players. He will go out of his way to work with players to help them achieve a goal. Because he doesn't need to achieve any goals. He's done it. Unless there's some new event, some new world thing, like when the Burning Blade first came up, yeah, he was killing players who came after it because he wanted it. He had to get those commendations. But now that he's got those commendations, he'll probably be willing to sit there and help other players take control of it. And that's where all these other players need to start really taking a page from their book. Stop thinking of this thing as just a PvP game. Does it have PvP aspects? Yes. But, like I said, and like Hitbo says, most of your players, they don't have the time. And if you don't want them to play because they don't have the time, you are telling them not to buy the product. In which case, your product isn't going to have money to do things you want them to do. You want Rare to increase the quality of the game. You want them to put new stuff into the game, but they can't do that if they're losing money, if people aren't playing the game. Do you understand that? If they don't keep getting money from new players and getting new players to stay, if you drive the player base away, then they will shut it down in time because they cannot afford to keep the lights on. They cannot afford to keep putting in new content. And then you'll leave too. And you'll go find something else to do. That's why I say, this is supposed to be a game where you have fun and you have adventures with other people. Not, oh my god, another player's coming, run for your life. But, oh hey, another player's coming. Maybe they can help me. I was doing a glitter beard. I mentioned this in a previous video. I was doing a glitter beard with almost every other ship. There was only one ship on the server we couldn't find. But once we were in the middle of doing the glitter beard event, the Reaper ship came on us and destroyed our ships, one by one. And we needed all 8 players at the event, so we had enough to do the event, and that was it. Nobody was left on the ships to watch them. And then the stupid players that came and destroyed our ships were shooting at us from the ocean. So they knew what we were doing. They knew where we were. And they very rudely interrupted probably one of the most heartfelt events that you could do in this game. And honestly, I wish there was a way you could have reported them, because they should have been banned for that. But I, to this day, still cannot do the Glitterbeard event because I can't get enough people to do it. And yeah, there's things where people say, oh, we'll go on Reddit. I don't use Reddit. I don't use Discord. I don't use Reddit. I don't have time. I got time to play. Not to set up some meeting or something. And I should be able to gather players together in the game to do that. It's so hard playing this game when you can't even trust when somebody says, hey, I'm friendly, I want to help. Hey, I'm bored, I just want to do this with you. You know, it makes it so hard to know who's telling you the truth, who really wants to play, and to have some, help, It's just so frustrating. But that is going to go ahead and wrap up this video. I know it's been a long video, a lot longer than I intended, but Season 14, I hope they get the kinks worked out of that soon. So, with all that said, if you have any comments on anything I've talked about, please leave your comment below. Just note, though, any disrespectful or very negative comments will be deleted, and you will be banned from the channel. If you really want to support or be a supporter of the channel, please check out my other videos and subscribe so you know when I come out with new videos. I am trying to get more into gaming and live streaming on the channel. I've got some games that lined up. I just tried to do Silent Hill 5. Did not work out very well. I wasn't getting enough views, so I stopped. So I'm going to try some other games, and if I don't get the views, I'm going to stop. I'm trying here, and I'm trying to make it interesting content for you guys. But at the very minimum, at least do me a favor, give this video a like. And if you are a reader, if you like a good story, if you like good books, you've seen my ads, please check out one of the books. Start with, Halloween is just around the corner. The short stories are quick reads. I prefer the audiobooks myself of those. They have sound effects and stuff in the audiobooks. I have a sample of it on here on the channel. Each audiobook at least has the first chapter sample on here, so you can check those out. Or you get, if you want something for Christmas, if you know somebody who's a big reader, check out my book series, The Guardian of Light. With all that said, I will talk to you all next time. Bye.